You ever see something, a team, a company, maybe even the stock market that looks completely unstoppable, and then, bam, it just suddenly falls apart? Well, today we're going to dig into some really cool new research that gives us a way to tell the difference between things that look strong on the surface and things that are the real deal.
So, to wrap our heads around this, let's just think about a championship sports team for a second. What really makes them great? Is it just that they win a lot of games? That they have these perfect, flawless plays? Or is there something else, something deeper going on that separates the legends from the one-hit wonders? That's the big question we're tackling.
And this right here is the core idea. On the one hand, you've got a team that just looks coordinated. They've got the amazing win record, they look unstoppable. But on the other hand, you have a team that is truly coherent. These guys don't just win when things are easy. They bounce back from mistakes, they adapt when the other team does something unexpected, and most importantly, they do not crumble under pressure. That difference, that's everything. So this brings us to our first big point. We have got to start looking deeper than the surface. If we really want to get a handle on stability, we have to go past the obvious stats. It's not about counting the wins, it's about understanding the hidden structure that makes those wins possible.
The paper we're looking at puts it perfectly with this quote. Basically, just because some parts of a system are working well together, or it looks organized, that doesn't mean the whole thing is actually stable. It could be what you'd call a fragile fake, looking great right up to the very second it shatters into a million pieces.
So the bottom line is this. If we only pay attention to that surface-level coordination, we're setting ourselves up to be completely blindsided when things go wrong. The system might look totally fine, but underneath, it's brittle, just waiting for a real shock to expose it. Okay, so if just looking at the scoreboard isn't enough, then how do we measure what's really going on? Well, this research gives us a brand new framework built on 3 key ingredients. It's like going from just watching the game to actually understanding the physics that make the champion team work.
So ingredient number 1 is coordination, which the paper calls S. Now this is the part we can all see. It's the crisp passing, the slick plays, the way everyone seems to move in perfect sync. It's how well the team works together, right? That's definitely important, but it's only one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
All right, next up we have robustness, or R. Now think about this. What happens when the team's star player gets injured right in the middle of a huge game? Does the whole team just fall apart, or did they absorb that shock, recalibrate, and keep on playing at a high level? That's robustness. It's how well a system can handle a hit from the inside and keep on ticking.
And this brings us to the third and honestly the most groundbreaking ingredient, closure, or K. This one is a total game changer. Imagine it's halftime, and the other team comes out with a completely new strategy you've never seen before. Closure is the team's ability to deal with that external shock, to adapt and maintain who they are, even when the whole game has been turned on its head. It's about staying solid when the world around you changes.
So, let's put it all together. You take that visible coordination, S, you add the internal resilience of robustness, R, and you add the external adaptability of closure, K, and what do you get? You get C, the Coherence Index. This single number gives us a much better picture of how stable a system really is.
And here's where it gets really, really cool. This research suggests that stability isn't just a smooth, gradual thing. No, there might actually be a very specific tipping point. So when does a system lock in? When does it make that leap from being pretty good, but maybe a little fragile, to becoming truly, deeply, structurally stable? Is there like a magic number for that?
Well, the research points to a candidate, 0.72. Now let's be super clear. The authors aren't saying this is some universal constant of the cosmos, it's a specific threshold that came out of their models. But what's so fascinating is that when a system's coherence index, that C value, crosses this 0.72 mark, it seems to snap into a whole new level of genuine, resilient stability.
So, that's the theory. But how can we actually test it? How do we separate the truly stable systems from those fragile fakes in the real world? Well, you do what you always do with things you want to test. You put them under stress.
Okay, I know this graph looks a little complex, but the story it tells is actually really simple. See the solid lines? That's our truly stable system. When you put pressure on it, all its parts rise to the occasion together. But then look at those scattered dots. That's our fragile fake. We built it to look coordinated on the surface, but when you apply a real stress test, it just can't hold together. It completely fails, and its hidden weakness is laid bare for everyone to see.
This quote from the paper just nails what we just saw. You can force a system to look like it's in sync. You can make it look coordinated. But that pretty picture means absolutely nothing if it isn't backed up by real robustness and closure. It's just a house of cards waiting for the slightest breeze to knock it over.
And this table just lays it all out plain and simple. Look, both the true system and the fake one can have high coordination. On the surface, they look the same. But look at robustness and closure. The fake system is totally lacking. So when you hit it with that stress test, the true system passes, no problem. But the fake one, it fails, big time, showing you just how fragile it really was.
Okay, this is all really fascinating stuff for a lab, but what does it actually mean for the real world? Why is this something we should all be paying attention to?
Well, this new way of looking at things can be applied to pretty much any complex system you can imagine. We're talking about a new lens for understanding financial markets to maybe predict crashes, for our power grids to prevent blackouts, for building AI models that are actually reliable, even for understanding the health of entire ecosystems and social networks. This is basically an early warning system for all kinds of things we rely on.
When you boil it all down, what the Coherence Index really gives us is a way to finally measure the invisible stuff, the hidden structures and relationships that actually prevent a system from collapsing. It lets us see the difference between something that's just doing okay for now and something that is truly built to last.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. As you go about your day, look at the world around you. Which of the systems that seem perfectly fine, perfectly stable, are actually just fragile fakes, maybe just one unexpected poke away from falling apart completely? This new framework might just be the tool we need to figure that out before it's too late.